Good evening, folks. Prince Aaron here again. We're going to be playing some Gold Hunter tonight. Since the last episode, the only thing I have done is fill up the hog pan to 100%, so we're pretty much sitting right where we were. The mining suit is a little bit bigger in terms of the size of the hole, but there's not much progress has been made at all there. What do we see? So it is currently dark. I don't have a flashlight for the helmet at the moment because I forgot to buy it. So what we're going to do is just set up the tent and sleep till morning. That'll only take a wee moment. Just so we'll have a bit of light to work by. There we go, perfect. Now, so as I said, I dug out a little bit more of a dig site and filled this up to 100%. So just going to empty it here in the big green container here. As you can see, it is actually starting to fill a little bit, but it will take a very long time to completely fill this. I will more than likely take away this entire section of the hillside within the boundary markers just to fill this. So that's all came out of it, just a little bit. Just run through the last of this dirt before I go and refill the container. I think tonight I'm going to try for about an hour's worth of digging. So hopefully we'll get this highbanker through at least once or twice. Now, when the container down at the end is full, I'm not actually going to go through that all with the small green pan for getting gold. I'm just going to do enough to get the wave table and then run the rest of it through that, just to try and get the most out of it. There's no point in losing so much, especially in the beginning. But hopefully when that container is completely full of processed dirt, that should be enough to get us the hopper feeder, the stage 2 small wash plant, an excavator, and quite possibly a field trailer as well. So that's the hope. Even if it's only enough for the excavator and hopper feeder if the dirt's poor, what can you do? We'll take it and go from there. But that's the basic plan at the moment, is to set that up out of the first processed container or two. So as I say, I don't tend to dig too deep, just enough that I could run around in that area and jump out of it easily. Basically just remove a layer of it and then the next layer, etc., and bring it down. So we're not going to see big gold amounts coming out of top layer dirt at any time soon. It will be relatively poor, but there is gold here in this top layer. It's just very small amounts. I don't mind building an empire off it. This episode, as I say, is largely just going to be this, me digging. Digging and getting high, smoking doobies. As I say, this server is called Hive 420, so if you ever see it online, feel free to come and join in. Currently here at Redwood Creek, so feel free to make your way up and come and help. One thing I am debating is picking up trailers to the truck is a bit of a pain in the ass. So I am debating just buying a new truck for every trailer. For example, when I go to buy the fuel trailer, just buy a new truck and keep the two of them permanently attached. It will mean having quite a fleet of vehicles, but it seems so much hassle. And it's not like we're here to be Scrooge anyway. We're here to mine gold, make money and spend it, so why not spend it on the best quality stuff? Just in case anybody's wondering what I'm smoking on, it's a Cali strain called Ginger Cookies. It's quite nice. Hay fever sucks. One thing I don't quite understand is you actually get more gold out of this highbanker than you do the stage 2 wash plant. From what I can remember, you would tend to get about 2 ounces per cleanout out of the highbanker from this top section dirt, where the stage 2 wash plant with the built-in trommel would give you about 0.6 ounces per cleanout. So I don't quite know what's going on there. hopefully that's something the developer has a bit of a look at. But given by that stage you're using the excavator, hopper feeder and stage 2 wash plant, realistically you should be getting quite a bit more than 0.6 inches per cleanout. It does seem a little bit low. I will say though, for all the videos I've watched on YouTube of people playing this, I have encountered a lot of bugs and I have yet to encounter any. The developer, he seems to be a one-man team, but he actually listens to people. Like when people report a bug, he actually takes action on it and pretty quickly. The development he's put into this game has been outstanding, to put it simply. I really enjoy it. As I say, I've been playing this game on and off now for maybe 2.5, 3 years. And just watching the progress has been really cool. Looking at the future plans for the game, things like mining dredges, helicopters, personal transport, airplanes, etc., etc. Even the ability to replace the crappy wee cabin you start with a proper, well-maintained house. Maybe some other buildings like garages, etc. I would like to see the ability to buy like a large warehousey type building to be a gold processing centre. That would be cool. From what I've read, the developer wants to put some wildlife into the game and give you some hunting rifle options so that you can take care of your food as well. Maybe some predators like bears or something to give a little bit of a danger aspect. Or a few bears could come in and try and attack you, you have to defend yourself. Maybe some wolves. Would be quite interesting though. Just in case the developer actually does happen to see this, one thing that needs urgently addressed is the safes. After you create a gold bar and put it into the safe, if you move the safe, it leaves all the gold bars. So, for example, you can't pick up a safe full of gold bars and take it to the gold shop. At this stage, you still have to lift every gold bar individually and put them into the truck, which is a bit of an inconvenience if you have quite a lot. So what I would like to see is maybe a briefcase in which you can insert, say, 20 or 50 gold bars of any size and simply load those instead. I really can't wait for the day I can fly down to the gold shop in a helicopter though and sell hundreds of gold bars. That is going to be an awesome day. I would really like to see NPC workers in the game. For example, hiring a few people to dig and bring up bucketfuls of gold to the highbanker would be really cool. But I do understand the developer has already said he didn't want NPCs. They were just a bit too stupid, for lack of a better word. It is understandable, but it would be fun. Hopefully you guys can't see all the smoke coming past the phone. Still smoking a doobie. I have kind of wondered lately about just lifting the highbanker, setting it here and just carrying it around. I don't know which would really be more efficient. At times, though, setting the highbanker on slopey ground, it will just keep rolling over and roll down the hill. So there is always those type of issues. But I don't know if there's any gold loss putting the dirt into the container and then transferring it. So I do kind of hope not. Apparently soon tailings are going to become a bit of an issue coming out the end of the machines. So it's effectively waste that needs dealt with. It will create some pretty interesting possibilities, like using the tailings to create a large pad for the wash plant to sit on, creating roads, ramps, etc. out of the trash rather than using valuable dirt. if some of you professional streamers saw what I'm currently using to set my phone on to hold it steady, you would laugh. It's the little stumps you would use to engrave letters in the metal. It's literally being held up by them. Unfortunately, I'm not very tech smart, so trying to do proper streaming type quality just off the cards at the minute. Well, not unless one of you guys fancies coming to Northern Ireland and setting it up for me. This little hole gets pretty big, pretty fast. So as I say, what I'm going to try and do is literally take off the top layer to being a few feet deep. And then just keep doing that. Take away this entire side of the hill. In all the time I have played this game, I have yet to completely clean out this entire claim. I have considered just doing it with the shovel and the highbanker and trying to achieve the whole claim clean out. But yeah. That was more of a thought before fuel became an issue. Back then, you simply clicked on the highbanker and it just worked. Somebody is letting fireworks off outside. Well, I guess it could be Americans. It is the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to any Americans. I don't quite know what it's all about. I didn't really do history, but hey, it's a thing. actually a bit hard to decide what to buy first. Debating between the wavetable and the excavator and stage 2 wash plant. My thought is the wavetable really increases the efficiency of gold collection, as well as taking out the mining pan process. So it's a big win very quickly. I know most people tend to leave that a while and take the excavator and stage 2 wash plant, but yeah, I think it just creates extra work to take the excavator first. There is, at this stage, a loss of gold of, I don't know what sort of percentage, but we're maybe only recovering 20% of the total of what's actually going through this wash plant, where yes, the excavator and stage 2 wash plant will give you a higher percentage recovery, but even still, if you're not using the wavetable, you're not taking full advantage of that. So my thought always was to have the wavetable first and maximize efficiency as much as possible. So once I get the wavetable, I intend to use one of these green containers to dump all the gold coming out into one of these containers, and once it's full, that's the point, we'll begin smelting it into gold bars. So I'm kind of curious, one of these 80 litres filled with processed gold ready to smelt. I'm kind of curious about the total amount of gold bars that would come out of it. I think it would be easily in excess of 200 or 300 ounces. At this stage of the game, with only the small furnace, I think that limits us to, I can't remember if it's a 2-ounce gold bar. So yeah, that could potentially be a huge stack of gold bars out of that one container. But it will take a very, very long time, especially with the highbanker and shovel, to actually fill that much. Don't be surprised if this entire section of the hillside's gone by the time we get there. I would love to have this entire claim cleaned out and enough money in the bank to cover fuel, etc. for the next claim, so that I can do an entire claim clean out once it's all dug out and processed, sort of gold hunter style. I loved watching those videos where they literally had hundreds of buckets of gold all processed and ready to go right at the end of the claim. 70% already. Given that we're 34 minutes into the video, I think in an hour-long video we might be able to get to 50% of the next fill. Taking, I would say, roughly 45 minutes just to fill it once. You know, a lot of people talk about dead air, where the person recording doesn't really say much, but other than digging, there really isn't much going on here at the moment. And if I start talking about personal shit, you guys will start hearing about my ex that started trying to murder me. 5 attempts in 9 months. Yeah, it wasn't nice. He tried to pour acid all over my face while I was asleep. So, yeah. The range on the shovel is actually quite nice. It does go further than we could physically reach. One really cool thing about the game engine used here is you can actually dig a little tunnel down under the ground as deep as you want to, walk down it, dig a big cavern. You could take all your wash plant equipment, cold room, etc., put it all down underground and just start mining out in tunnels under the ground. I actually dug into this hillside in my last playtest and did a fair job in hauling it out. It was odd to say the least, but it was fun. I had quite a large amount of lights having to light the place up. Actually had, just within this small hillside, it was 4 levels I went down, and then just broke all the surface of it and all the floors. I have absolutely no idea how much these mats take up with being transferred into the container. It could be a lot more or a lot less than I assume. I've never actually done this before, like collecting it, all the processed dirt in such a large container. So I'm curious to see what we do end up with when this is full. See, it falls over. Sometimes the best thing to actually do is simply set it down in there. You can see how deep we've dug already. Now, the idea is sort of level off back to the boundary here, a few meters back, and dig this section out in the next section. It's going to take quite a while. One thing I've never bought before was the front end loader, so I do want to try and buy one in this playthrough, and we can try and figure that out. I don't really understand how you're meant to lift the vehicle high enough to dump into the hopper feeder, not unless, for example, say this was leveled off, you drove the front end loader up here where the hopper feeder would be just above the highbanker, so you could drop in from above, but that would require a little bit of planning and a potentially permanent pad setup. If anybody has used the small excavator for creating flat roads, ramps down onto levels, like subterranean levels or anything here, let me know how to do it. To me it seems a lot more difficult. Feet are getting a little sore sitting on the floor. 50 minutes into the video already. And hopefully I can fill this to the 50% mark by the next 10-15 minutes. Just for anybody wondering what part of Northern Ireland I'm from, it's Belfast, biggest shithole on the planet. So by the time we have the highbanker filled, I think another 2 or 3 times, we should have enough to go and buy the wave table and really get going from there. feel about the dirt. We haven't even hit the gold rich dirt yet. This will all change colour the deeper we go to signify what we're digging. You tend to find at least the first layers of what we'll call gold rich pay dirt would tend to be more grey colour and stony, which we haven't quite got to yet. In the future, all of this overburden here will actually be what you would make your wash pad from. So as and when that facility comes into the game, this would be where you would aim to get the material from. Now, what you would do with all the rest of the tailings, I have no idea. Not unless you go dump them in the river and flood the whole map. It does seem to be moving water. It will be a possibility. I'd always wondered, like, you see all these huge rocks in the soil everywhere, large stones, pebbles. Why would you not bag that up? Like, crush the bigger stones and the pebble sized and sell them for landscaping, like back gardens, etc. Even within the scope of the game, it would give you a way to get rid of all your tailings to actually sell them off as commercial product. You can start to see a little bit of a pay layer here where we're breaking through the dirt. Given that we're almost at the 50% point here, we're almost at an hour long video, I'm just going to keep digging and fill this to 100% and empty it, and we'll call the video there. I think in the next video, realistically, we should be able to get the gold table. sucks being disabled. Nothing but pain. Right folks, bear with me a minute, I rolled up another doobie. This will just take a minute. I'm kind of curious from people who play the game and use multiple wavetables and furnaces. Is it not just a pain in the ass? Like having to turn on so many generators, water pumps every time you have a large amount of dirt to process. I do think we need some sort of upgrade to the large furnace. I do think we need more of a rectangular box type version where the top maybe slides up on mechanical lift, but consider something where you could put 8 large crucibles in instead of 1, because it's a larger device, it simply has larger gas usage. But it would allow more efficient code production in large multiplayer maps, rather than potentially having 8 smaller individual furnaces. Hold on, let's get back to mining that gold. getting there. One shovelful at a time. We're getting there. Tony Beats, he would have had this whole stride completely stripped out in a day. Unfortunately, it's more likely to take us a month. I would say probably maybe 30 in-game days. So it does take an approximate 500 shovelfuls to actually fill this thing. It is a large amount, considering this has been 3 1/3 times I have filled this. It's a considerable amount of dirt they've put in. So I am putting this in the wrong container, but it doesn't matter. Simply pick it up and put it in there. Doesn't matter. So it is getting quite a bit full. Now I'm kind of thinking do a small clean out now and just see what we've got. Some gold in the pan. Where is our truck? Need a bottle. Gold pan. What we do is switch the camera and collect all the pieces of gold. This wee bottle's filling quite quickly. It's almost half full already. Oh, did the generator run out of fuel? So that was, it looks to be, I would say 2 litres. Cost them maybe $4 to dig all this out and process it. It is pretty good. I don't think fuel efficiency is a large issue right now, but the more machines you're running, you will want to shut things down when they're not in use. Yeah, big nuggets. Look at the length of that one. Oh, it's 2. There we go, the first jar's full already. I don't know offhand how much gold we would get in the jar, but it's full. So let's take another 2 jars. Take that one out, put that one Looks like we'll get another pan full. How nice would it be to get another full jar here? It's possible. That is cool. There's another half jar already. I don't know exactly what we're about to get. Oh, don't crash, don't crash. I think the game just crashed. Yeah. Crap. Why did that have to happen? Okay, so we'll try a quick reload. And hopefully we're still in that gold paneling stage, because I can't remember when the last save was. If we are, I'll complete the cleanout. And we'll go. What are we doing? Okay. Just before. Okay, we're saved pretty recently then. Auto save's cool. Don't do that. No. The amount of gold in these pans is more than I was expecting. There's quite a few small nuggets. So there we go. Two full gold jars. Let's see what we can make out of them at the moment. Okay. Something's telling me I might not have bought a crucible. Oh, well, I was pretty sure I did. That's unfortunate. That means I would have to sleep until morning before I can go to the shop and get a crucible. But this will only take seconds to put together either way. Simply attach and attach. What you do is open the gas bottle and put the crucible in, and it melts your gold. Drop it into the small mold here, makes gold bars, put them onto the scale, and tells you how much you've got. So let's go get the crucible. Actually, the shop doesn't open until a certain time, so what we're going to do is sleep until 10 and then go. Close enough. Safe speeds. controls are quite simple though. A, S, W, and D. Point and click, or drag and click to look around. I don't really care about fuel efficiency at this stage. It's just not all that important. So here's Crucible, $30. Send me my Crucible. Thank you. And now we go make a couple of gold bars. Oh, it's going to be fun. And we're back. Where'd that fall? Everything fell. Where'd crap. The little mold, gold mold seems to have disappeared. Very hard thing to see. I don't want to have to go away back to the shop. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna have to, so when I'm there, I'll buy a table to put all this stuff on. at the moment. Okay, so gold table, $24,000. It's roughly 8 or 10 ounce, depending on the gold price. Just in case we'll lose any more, a big box of them. And a small table. So while we're here, yeah, here's the safes. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but when you put the safe on a table or one of the benches over in the corner, put gold bars into it, they simply drop through the base. So it's not exactly a safe. I'm kind of curious about what these are though. Hey, we paid for these too, yeah. Run, Forrest, run. Hey. Do you know what would be cool? A delivery driver, NPC, pay him a few dollars, send him down to the shop like a taxi driver. Go and pick my stuff up, here's a list. Would be kind of cool if that NPC actually borrowed your truck or another suitable vehicle and actually physically did the journey down to the shop to go and buy your stuff. This is a bit annoying. obviously it is realistic. Okay, so a little bit of a sort of flatter piece of land here will do good. In the crucible. So first things first is freeze the table. Freeze the furnace. Would be nice if that would actually sit properly. Sometimes it just won't. So what can you do? So open up the furnace. I'll move this too. Turn on the gas supply. Here. What we're going to do is put that in. Close the lid. There we go. Gold smelting. It looks like it took maybe 30% of a jar to fill the crucible, so hopefully we'll get maybe 7 bars here. I wouldn't go getting your fingers crossed hoping for massive yield, but potential of 7 to 14 ounces depending on how much each bar weighs. I'm just going to skin up another doobie while we are waiting on these bars. You'll see the gas indicator there on the right hand side. I would say it takes around 5% gas usage per bar made in a small furnace, but using the larger furnace it does seem to have more efficient gas usage. May well use 3% for actually making a larger size bar. So you don't have to turn the gas off here because this will be pretty quick of a process. So just remove the crucible, dump the contents in the mould, and repeat. So go into the crucible, crucible into the furnace, post wood, go again. Just for a bit more visibility. And move these here. So what I do here is remove the gold bar, set it aside, and we'll put them all on the scales in a minute and see what we get. Well, a few minutes. But yeah, that's our first gold bar. The larger furnace would actually be a lot more efficient in terms of the time taken to smelt all the gold. It would seem a shorter time per smelt and obviously a larger capacity in the crucible. So it works out a good investment to actually upgrade. I would like to get to the stage of having multiple large furnaces, but my concern would be very quickly having to take trailer loads of gas bottles for sale or finding somewhere to dump them all. I do hope the ability to refuel gas bottles actually comes about fairly quickly. Even a capacity to load the fuel trailer with gas or a separate gas trailer of large capacity, 1,000 litres, will be great. So here's gold bar number 2. There we go. It's just over 5% per smelt. So from one gas bottle you would reasonably expect maybe 18 gold bars to be able to be smelted. You could stay here for quite a considerable period, actually smelt all those gold bars before you go and sell them all. Just fill your inventory slots here. It would seem there's 4 rows, maybe 5 items in each row, so you could actually carry the whole 20 bars in your inventory. And just pick up a new gas bottle after you sell them all. But given that they would appear, as far as I remember, to be maybe 2 or 3 ounce bars, it's quite a considerable amount for churning out of the small furnace. concerned about spilling the gold, it quite happily just stays in there. I do like that it brings up the red shadows for where you're meant to aim for to insert the crucible. It does the same now with the jerry cans for refueling vehicles as well. Just for those of us that are a bit visually impaired, it's helpful. I know most of you guys will probably just turn that off, but it is helpful for some of us. 0.4 ounces. That absolutely sucks. Zero point 0.4 ounces. As I said, the topsoil, it sucks, but there is gold in it, and I'd sooner have that in my pocket in the game than going to waste. I mean, this might only be a total of around 2 ounces I've just lifted, but consider that that's maybe £6 in game price. So it is quite a bit of money, and it's literally taken us to in-game days. And it's only going to get better the deeper the hole goes, the more dirt we dig. What you might notice is it's a plain gold bar at the moment, but when we put it on the scales, see the imprint? I don't know if you can see it on the phone. Let's see. See if I can make it a bit clearer. It actually imprints the weight of the bar to 0.450416 ounce. So it's actually down to 6 decimal places. Very, very precise. But it's a good feature to actually imprint on the bar. So if we assume that the next bar again is going to come up to a similar 0.45 ounces, that would give us roughly 3 to 3.5 ounces. As I say, total income maybe hopefully $8,000. We're still quite a way off the 24,000 needed for the wave table, but we'll get there. One shovelful at a time. I've actually got one of these type of furnaces for melting all my aluminium cook cans. They'll mold as well, so it's pretty good. It's not worth much. You wouldn't make much money off it, but it's more just boys and their toys. Bit of fun. Here we go. This is our last gold bar being put in. One thing I am slightly concerned about is the tier 3 wash plant. Given the sheer amount of mats on it, the sheer amount of output in terms of gold rich dirt, is the amount of time it's going to take for cleaning out and processing the gold in each clean out. It could be actually quite extensive unless there's a massive gold room. So here we go, the final bar. Turn the gas off. So $125 or $150, I can't remember, for the bottle of gas. We've used 40%. Well, let's call that $50 worth. We have used maybe 2 litres of petrol at about $2.50 a litre. Call that about $5. What discount, what fuel we've used in the truck has been irrelevant. So for $55, we've just made 7 gold bars, being a total of 3 ounces. It might not seem like much for the first clean out, but hey, like a few $1,000s is a few $1,000. We'll go and see what it's worth. This may seem a crazy drive to get to the shops, but you gotta keep in mind some of the things are maybe 10 times that distance away. So you will put in quite a bit of mileage, especially on a multiplayer map when new people come in. They're going to need picked up, which if there's groups coming in, like at set times, that's where I'll show you here. Some of the smaller vehicles you'd only be able to pick one person up, but there were larger ones, like here, the camper van, where you could fit in quite a few people. Just pick them all up at once. There are some cool things being added in, like box vans, but I don't really know why. I mean, I don't know what would fit into the back of it other than very small stuff. So, yeah, but we'll go and see what this holds first. This is the gold store. So right here is a small building. I don't really know what it's for. It does look big enough to put, for example, a few gold tables in, and like furnaces and something. But I don't know if you threw the output hose over into the ocean, would it actually work as a water source, or would this pond out the back do the job? I think more than likely the pond might do it. But I just noticed it the last time I was playing and thought, wouldn't it be cool to put the gold refining station at the gold store? So let's see what these are worth. Gold bars, 2.79 ounces, for almost $8,000. Do you know what? I ain't gonna turn my nose up at it. I take it. Just while we're down this way, I'm gonna take a quick look and see how much the hopper feeder costs. That is available in here. And this. So 17,500. 500 litre capacity, so considering we have a 3 litre shovel, this will hold approximately 170 shovelfuls. That's a lot of work to fill this, but it means we can turn off our water pump and conserve fuel until this is full, then simply turn it on and wait until this drains out and ends up in the miner's houses. So for those really concerned about fuel efficiency and trying to squeeze every penny, as they say, this would be an ideal next investment. So that's pretty much us for today. Gonna drive back up to the mine site and refuel and set up for the next video tomorrow. I do like do like these little conveyor belts, but they don't seem overly useful for the height they're at. I don't know if that's adjustable or not though. No way. Yeah, it's correct in what I said in the last video. The mileage indicator down in the bottom right hand corner actually seems to work.